Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric. Under continuing series where I review every Capcom CPS, CP System Dash, CPS2, and CPS3 game. And today we're taking a look at Mega Man: The Power Battle. It's an awesome boss rush Mega Man game for the Capcom Play System, and it's one of my favorite games on the platform. Before we get too far involved, if you do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down there as well. You'll see off the top we get three choices. We're just going to go with Mega Man, and then it gives you different courses. Mega Man 1 through 2, 3 through 6, or 7. So there's a lot of different varied gameplay here. And the interesting thing is you get to select each stage you go to, but you do need to be decently quick on your button inputs because that is rotating around. But just like a regular Mega Man game, there's going to be a strategy on which order you want to take the bosses on in. Up first we have Iceman here, a relatively easy opponent. I would say that this game is not the hardest game in the world. It's actually pretty relaxing to play. There's definitely a lot of strategy in how you choose your weapons, but otherwise this isn't the most brutal game. But I absolutely love it. It's colorful, it's at the Mega Man universe obviously. I love that giant mechanical whale we have in the background just opening and closing his mouth. This game is just one of those games that you can't help but smile when you're playing it, but is interesting and simple as it seems. There is a lot of strategy involved. Just like any Mega Man game, you can do better if you choose your course wisely. Because you'll see here, I chose to take on Iceman first. And when you defeat any of the robot masters, like any Mega Man game, you're going to get their weapon. And we're going to end up with Ice Slasher. And that's going to be useful for a certain boss. And you do have to be quick on the draw to select them. You can make a mistake here, but you see we move on to Heat Man. Try to think about what Heat would dislike. That would be cold. And that's like any Mega Man game, there's always a hook. But if we take the ice weapon here and just start hammering in on the boss, you're going to see that we're able to defeat him immediately with a perfect stage. And that's where the strategy and the kind of other layers of the power battle actually take place, is strategizing what order you want to take the course on in. And I don't have this fully memorized. I used to when I played it a lot more, but I can't remember exactly what each boss hates. Of course, Woodman's going to hate fire because what does fire do to wood? It burns him. But you do need to be careful to land all your shots. You'll see I missed a few there, and I was only able to take half his health bar down. If I had unloaded the full amount of fire attack that I had, I would have done more like 3/4 of his health bar in damage. So you definitely want to be careful of how you're using your weapons and getting to learn how they all work and travel across the screen, because it's going to make it a lot easier on you. But again, just another great background. You have those mechanical robot dinosaurs in Wily Land. Definitely looks like Jurassic Park a little bit. But this game is just filled with charm. I love the artwork. I love the graphics. Everything is so colorful. It looks and feels exactly like a Mega Man game should, and obviously that's no surprise. It was made by Capcom. But this is a game that I don't hear mentioned as much as some of the other CPS or CPS2 games, because there is a sequel to this on the CPS2. And technically, Mega Man: The Power Battle is also a CPS2 game. There's a few rare boards out there. It looks like Capcom was going to release it for the CPS2, but then chose to just downgrade it slightly for the Play System. So that's why I'm including it on this series here. I do have the ROM available for my Darksoft Multi CPS2 board, and it does run on that sometimes. It likes to freeze a lot because obviously it's not really intended for that. But you'll see we got through another robot master and we're moving on to the next stage. And I just love the layout of everything, because you would think that once you beat the game, you've seen everything, but because you have Mega Man 1 through 2, 3 through 6, and then 7, you actually get a lot of diversity in who you're going to be fighting, and that's always a ton of fun. But again, just another awesome robot master, another awesome background, and you can see here in a second, if you run to the left or the right in those chutes, you will actually come out at the top of the screen. But you'll see it's pretty easy to avoid the projectiles. Once you learn the pattern of each boss, it becomes a lot easier to deal with, and that's like any Mega Man game with the bosses. It's all pattern recognition, and I love that. But the music's also great as well, so go ahead and listen for about 45 seconds. I'll come back and tell you more why, if you've never played a Mega Man: The Power Battle, you absolutely should. But let's go see what Cutman's up to. Be right back.
Ready? Go!
And yeah, we got another Robot Master down, and now we're moving on to the Wily stages. And I do like the fact that just like a Mega Man game, once you've defeated all the Robot Masters in an individual course, you get to go to Wily's castle. And obviously that's always going to be a fun time, but just these stages, I absolutely love how they look. And I feel like these games don't get enough credit because they're not really games designed for everybody. I mean, it is just a Mega Man boss rush. It would have been really interesting to see what Capcom had done had they just put a Mega Man game proper in the arcades only. I understand why they didn't do that, but you know, boss rush game is only going to give you so much longevity, but it's absolutely awesome to play right here. And I am playing on the MiSTer in the Jotego cores, and they work absolutely spectacularly. But I just love the art. You've got those pre-rendered tunnel visuals coming through the background. You've got great transparencies as the globe goes around that Dr. Wily logo. And you'll see here I did take my first death, so let's move over to Proto Man, because they all play relatively similarly, but each individual character has their own moves. Like Proto Man's going to have a nice dash to escape from certain attacks. But this game is a ton of fun, and it's one that I've always enjoyed playing, and one that I rarely if ever see at arcades. Randomly, there's an arcade bar in Chicago that actually had this on the floor, and every other cabinet they had there was exactly the typical things you would expect to see. Street Fighter, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, things like that. But then they had the Power Battle, so clearly somebody there either found a really cheap board or had some little bit deeper cut taste and decided to bring this game onto the floor. But it's just one of those things, if you've never played it before, I can't recommend it enough. It's exactly what it looks like. It's just a boss rush mode, but that's what's so much fun about this game, because it's got a lot of potential for memorization, because each boss has its own pattern, and if you get really good at this, you can definitely one credit continue it. And I know right now as I'm recording this voiceover, Summer Games Done Quick is going on, and there's always a ton of Mega Man games that are being run on the marathons, but I wish they would include something like the Power Battle, because I feel like this would be a great exhibition of just pure skill, showing how to basically beat every single Robot Master and boss without taking any damage or doing it on one credit on the hardest mode, because I am playing this on normal difficulty. And if you do increase the difficulty to the highest level, this game becomes extremely challenging. But honestly, here I was able to beat the entire course 1 through 2 only using 2 credits. So it's a really fair arcade game as well. But now Dr. Wily's moved on to his second phase, and this game does something slightly weird in which once you defeat a second phase, you're going to have 10 seconds to go ahead and hit him enough to destroy him. And I will say that's the hardest thing in the entire game, because his head keeps moving between those 2 floating skulls, and no matter how many times you hit him, his health really doesn't come down that much. So actually achieving this one feat is probably the hardest thing in the entire game, and as usual, I did fail at it. But I mean, that's Mega Man the Power Battle. It's an awesome game, it's colorful, it's fun to play, the soundtrack's awesome as you heard, and when you beat the game, you do get a little bit of a story cut in the end. It's not as much story as you would get in a traditional Mega Man console game, but it gives you just enough to look at. But like 100%, if you've never played this game before, definitely check it out. You can buy the arcade board if you're so interested. It emulates perfectly in software, and it's amazing on MiSTer. Short of that, I will be back next week with another episode in the CPS review series. I'll have videos on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday as well. But if you have any questions or comments, I'll leave them down below. Love chatting with you guys. And like I said earlier, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below and hit like, subscribe, and that notification bell definitely helps us out. Otherwise, we hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.